Let's talk books. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am obviously Taylor. Today I'm going to do things a little different because I made it a goal for myself to read 30 books this year. And I'm already at 21, I think. I'm at 20 or 21. I have a lot of recent favorites and just some all-time favorites that I wanted to go through because I think that there is something in here for everyone. So let's get into it. I feel like summer and then fall, when it's kind of nice out and you can sit outside in the morning and like enjoy a book, is when I read the most. So I wanted to kind of curate a little reading list if you want to fill the back end of your year with some fun, interesting books. The first one I'll start with is Julia Fox's book, Down the Drain. This is the craziest story ever. She was wild, and I didn't know any of this about Julia Fox. I saw her in movies with Kanye, killing it in the fashion space, but I didn't know anything about her background. So it is really crazy, but it's really interesting and cool to see how she got to be where she is. It's set in New York and it just goes like basically through her childhood until present day, which is something that's really cool because you can still see her evolving in real life, and it's really fun. Like, it was funny to read, so starting off strong. Next, in a similar vein of the autobiographies, I always get it confused, like biography and autobiography. So if I'm wrong, please let me know. They're written by themselves. Like, the authors wrote these, so whatever that means, I don't know. But the next book I have, well, there's two, but they're similar. It's just one's like written earlier than the other. They're Bob Evans books. He was the head of Paramount for a while. He was like the youngest head of Paramount, and he brought it out of basically going extinct into being one of the leading movie production companies. He is probably one of the top 3 people that I look up to. I think his story is so cool, and it also, both of these are filled with old Hollywood tea. So if you want to hear some of that, it's really interesting, and these are a very also easy read. They're funny. His voice like shines through so strong. I actually first heard of him through the show The Offer. It's about how they made The Godfather, but he was involved in that. He did like Rosemary's Baby, Chinatown, a bunch of stuff, and I loved both of these books. They also made a movie out of The Kid Stays in the Picture. I haven't watched it, but he narrates the whole thing. The way he speaks and his personality is just so fun. So I feel like if you're not a book person, definitely check out the documentary. Okay, I'm gonna move into some fiction books. I had to check literally 5 times when I was reading this just to make sure this wasn't a real story, because it actually broke me. But I think this is such a good book that if you're in a mentally well enough space that you can read this, I definitely recommend, and that's A Little Life. I read this at the beginning of the year and I still think about it every other day. I swear this book literally changed me. It is one of the saddest things I've ever read, but it is so beautifully written that you just cannot put it down. One thing I will say is there are a lot of trigger warnings, so proceed with caution, but I think that if you have the mental space and the time to read this, it is definitely worth it. It's also set in New York, so if I'm like walking somewhere and it references a street or something that they mention in the book, it's just surreal to me because I literally have to check and be like, was this real? Because it's just so sad that I would never wish this to be real, but it's definitely a good read still. Okay, last nonfiction book. There's actually going to be a bunch of these I'm going to recommend, and it's any of Haruki Murakami's books. He's a Japanese author, so all of his books take place in Japan. His books are just so fun and a nice little escape from reality, but they also have a bunch of twists and they're kind of mysteries. So they really make you think, and the endings always have me searching on Reddit to see what other people think. This is Kafka on the Shore. I just read this one most recently. My favorite of his is Norwegian Wood. The Wind Up Red Chronicles are really good. After Hours or After Dark. He has a bunch of books, so I'm sure you can find one that you like. I mean, this is like huge, but I think it took me a couple days because it's just so interesting that you can't put it down. He's one of those authors that focuses on a couple different main characters and tells their stories separately, but then there's a connection to all of the them at the end, so I think that's really also fun because you want to see where he's leading it. And lastly, this would not be a book review if I didn't include some self-help books. First, I actually just read this, so I'm going to go into this one first. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. She's the author who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. She is really funny and she doesn't take anything too seriously, which really shines through in this book. If you are going through a creative rut or have something that you want to start working on but you're nervous and just don't believe in yourself, read this because she talks all about the creative process, how you need to have fun, let go of your fear, and she includes a bunch of personal stories in this, which is always really nice to see, having similar experiences with someone and how they work through it. So I definitely think this is a good read if you're a creative person and trying to make some type of breakthrough, or just trying to get through it, because we all go through creative ruts and sometimes it's really discouraging. But she basically tells you to grow up and not give up, which we need to hear sometimes. Okay, next is literally the complete opposite tone of Elizabeth Gilbert's writing. It is Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. This book, there's not many books that make me want to get up and be a completely better person, but this book did that for me. I also bought the workbook that has all the journaling prompts that go with this. But if you're just kind of like stuck in your life, sick, not happy, thinking negative all the time, she really gives tangible tips and takeaways and affirmations that you can use to completely transform yourself, your thought patterns, your life, and just kind of shows how you can break through any obstacles or negativities and gives you steps on how to do that. I also looked up on YouTube like a bunch of her affirmations and meditations and talks, so if you want something that's more audio centered, definitely check that out. Okay, two more. This book, I know I just said not many books changed my life. This book truly put every little piece in place, and is probably why I was able to find Louise Hay's book. Joe Dispenza's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I first read his Becoming Supernatural, and I would also recommend that. I just don't have that here. This literally, I swear, changed my life. As soon as I read this and did the meditation, the next week I got my job at Sol de Janeiro. So I feel like this truly changed everything in my life. I still wake up every morning and do his meditations, but he gives you a little bit of scientific background, which, trust me, I cannot understand any science talk, but he makes it really digestible, and it just shows you how your thoughts are wired and how they show up in your life, and then completely guides you on how to change that. And he gives you meditations and things to focus on so that you are learning to rewire your brain, rewire your habits, rewire your mental patterns, and create them in your favor. So if you're gonna take away anything from this video, let it be this book, because if you want to change your life, I swear this will help. Okay, and last, this is a fun one. This is one of my favorite books. I don't even know if I'd call it a book because it's very interactive. Again, if you're in a creative rut, if you are not really loving your life, if you're stuck on your phone all the time and just need to get out and try some new things, this book is for you, The Artist Way. It gives you exercises to kind of see what you want in life, regain creative momentum, inspiration. I don't know if you've ever heard of the morning pages, but that is one of the first exercises in this book, where you wake up and write 3 pages in the morning of just whatever your thoughts bring you. One of the exercises is not go on your phone for a week and see what you can get done. And when you don't have your phone and have nothing else to do, you will be amazed at the progress you can make. So I think just going through this, it's very straightforward, and it really helps you just get your thoughts onto the page and realize what you actually want out of life and kind of like how to get there. And it reminds me of being a little bringing out my inner child and playing again and having fun with life. So I definitely recommend this if you want something a little bit more interactive, or if you're just going through a stale phase and want to bring some creativity and happiness into your life. Okay, those were some of my all-time recent favorite reads. There's literally something for everyone in this pile. I tried to make it well-rounded because I know everyone probably doesn't want a self-help book shoved in their face, which is the course I'm on right now. I hope you enjoyed these books. If you have any favorites of your own, please let me know down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!